Welcome back. Imagine this. You paid your insurance premiums for your car insurance for 6 months, a year, 2 years. And in that time frame, you've never had an issue. Then one day there's an accident. It's your fault. You caused injury to the other person, or you caused property damage to the other person. And then your insurance says, hey, guess what? We're going to rescind retroactively your insurance policy and not cover the damage that you caused. The legal question is, can you sue your insurance company for bad faith over this conduct? Hello, this is attorney Patrick Silva, and we're going to review a incident that happened out of San Diego, and this was covered by San Diego News 7, NBC 7. And the report went on to say a San Diego family learned the hard way why insurance is important to know every detail about your car insurance and keep it updated. This happened to a young man named Sergio Preciado. He got into a car accident back in July of 2022 when he was exiting Interstate 805. If you're familiar with 805, it's a main thoroughfare. It's coming off the 15, makes a swooping hand turn if you're coming southbound. He admitted that it was his fault and that no one was injured. Thank God no one was injured, because right now he was only looking at having to pay property damage. If you get into personal body injury, that's going to run into tens of thousands. So he gets in an accident and he reports it to his insurance company. His insurance company was National General. Again, this is all public record. And there was even a report made with the California Department of Insurance. An insurance adjuster from his insurance company called them and said, hey, we want to know what happened with that car crash. And then they started asking him other questions. They asked him if anybody else over the age of 14 lived with him, and he told them that his daughter and his son, neither of them who had a driver's license or were old enough to drive at the time were also residents at his home. This goes back to the bigger problem, the online stuff. What happened is these insurance companies are going to say, well, you didn't tell us this. If you go back 20 years when you used to, hey, call up your insurance man or your insurance lady, talk to him on the phone, say, hey, Phil, I'd like to get some insurance, because that's my guy. Let me get some insurance on my car, my new, my old, this car, my truck, this, that. He says, okay, Pat, what do you need? Well, I need this, that. He goes, let me get you a quote, calls you back. The internet age, what happens to Sergio is that he went online, filled out all this stuff, and that's the out. The insurance company say, oh, you didn't tell us that. So what happened is the insurance company saying, hey, guess what? You didn't tell about this other person living in the house, and we need to name them as an excluded driver. What's an excluded driver? An excluded driver is on the policy. It's saying, hey, we're only going to cover the accidents or problems you have as the driver, but if anybody else living in your house, Johnny, Jimmy, Mary, if they take your car and cause an accident, we're not covering it, and that's on you, even though his kids were not of driving age. So his insurance company, National General, later told him in a letter, of course it's always a letter, they said, well, since you didn't name your son as an excluded driver, the policy is rescinded. That means they canceled it, and they refunded his premiums. Oh, that's very nice. So he paid the premiums, and they're not going to cover them. Do they have a legal right to sue them? I'm going to say they're going to go talk to a bad faith lawyer. A bad faith lawyer is going to examine, was this something dirty that the insurance company was doing? I mean, think about it. You pay money, you think you're covered. If he would have known that they were going to play this game and not cover it, you think he would have went with these people? Probably not. So Mr. Preciado, he's on the hook for the almost $5,000 in damages. Sergio, he actually he says, look at, what does my son have to do with the accident? And that's exactly right. What does his son have to do with the accident? His son wasn't driving. His son wasn't in the car. Preciado asked over and over, and he also mentioned that he wasn't driving and he wasn't with him at the time of the crash. He doesn't drive at all since he has no license. So why not name him? Well, that's what the insurance company's claiming. Now, the California Department of Insurance, they govern all this, and they're trying to punish people that don't do right, punish insurance companies don't do right. A person named Jasmine Ortega, who's with the California Department of Insurance, said, hey, it's not one of the main considerations for setting their rates or their premiums. It's a secondary consideration. All right, so now the Department of Insurance is giving them an out. But if they're going to retroactively cancel his insurance, why didn't they just pay the claim and then retroactively increase the premiums that they said it would have cost them to have an excluded driver? Because it benefited them to retroactively cancel it. That's why. And I think you're going to see more of these pop up. I think these go more and more unreported. I get calls over the last 23-4 years. I've gotten calls that are very similar to this. And this is the game I see all the time, is the insurance company takes your money. You make your payment on the 1st. It's due on the 1st. And you constantly pay them on the 3rd, the 5th. The last 2 years, you pay it on the 1st or the 3rd or the 5th. It's due on the 1st. And then what happens is you get into an accident on the 5th. Then your insurance company says, oh, it was late. We're not going to cover you. There's actually cases on it that talk about that. I won't get into it. But the short order is they have to give you notice. They have to tell you in advance, hey, we're going to cancel it. Something that some insurance companies do. Now, just because the California Department of Insurance investigated Mr. Preciado's claim for wrongdoing and they said that, hey, the insurance company didn't do anything wrong, doesn't relieve them from getting sued in a court of law. I mean, with that type of provision, they went on to say that would include roommates, no matter how close they are, relationship, people living with you temporarily, people who come and stay with you. So let's just say your aunt, uncle, you're having Thanksgiving coming up, your aunt, uncle shows up and they're going to stay with you 2 weeks. And during that 2-week period, you get into an accident. They say, hey, is there anybody staying with you? Well, yeah, my aunt and uncle from Mississippi, Texas, New York, they're staying with us. Well, based on that rationale, the insurance company would be able to retroactively cancel your insurance. It just doesn't smell right. Now, going back to how did Mr. Preciado get this insurance, he admitted that he filled out the forms. I'm going to assume it's online. They didn't say this, but this is 2023. He filled out the forms hastily. Now he scrambled to pay for the damage that he thought were covered by insurance. And I think it's this whole online application process where if you screw up, they're going to use it against you. Hit the like, subscribe button. Hope you learned a little bit about insurance and making sure your coverage is still valid. Have a great day. Bye.